Once I started really branding my beats to, like my cover art and titles for my beats and my pro page and all that kind of stuff. Once I made everything almost cohesive, that's when I saw things kind of start to get up and start actually working. Getting feedback from different producers. If you have a producer that you look up to and you know that they have really good beats, you could always just hit them up and be like, yo, I got these beats, I'm just looking for feedback, let me know what you think. And you can do that for artists too. And then if you can compare your beats to the beats that you're listening to that you think are like super fire, and they sound like they mesh with them, then that's how you actually know that your beats are ready to be sold. I think the best way to kind of value your music and everything is to kind of compare it to other producers that you'd say you're kind of in the same quality and experience with. So, if there's, other producers, you want to kind of just competitively base your prices off of others. You don't want to make it too low or then you're kind of undervaluing your work, So you want to stay with the competition, but you don't want it to be too expensive or too inexpensive, Even today, I still come across moments like that where you almost it's almost like the imposter syndrome, what I'm talking about, that I think a lot of other producers and artists too kind of experience, where it's you really have to understand that your work does deserve the value that you should be selling it at, because when you think about all the years that you put into it, all the hard work that you put in, the money that you put in, then that kind of translates to the value of your work. When I first got my first wave of attention from YouTube and stuff like that, that was completely organic. I wasn't doing any promoting. I wasn't really doing anything other than just putting out beats. That was working. But then once I started doing things like, email marketing, and once I started really branding my beats to, my cover art and titles for my beats and my pro page and all that kind of stuff. Once I made everything almost cohesive, that's when I saw things kind of start to get up and start actually, working. So going back to when I was talking about when I was just starting to make enough to go kind of part-time with it, I was basically that was around when COVID hit, and that was my kind of my time. I had nothing else to do. I just knew that I had to just keep grinding on everything and all of that. And then during that time, I was uploading to YouTube every other day, basically. So I was uploading more consistently. I was making, just overall better beats and everything. And then basically I just ended up getting picked up by the algorithm, and that made my YouTube go up. And then that, converted to more attention coming to BeatStars and my profile on there. I remember it was sick. I remember the exact moment that it happened. It was definitely a surreal moment, where I was just out with the family. We were out in dinner, and I get this this PayPal notification. It was only $20, but I was yo, no way. I remember showing everyone. I was yo guys, you're never gonna guess, I just sold a beat, So it was definitely kind of a wild, full circle moment. A big thing for me was first off, when I was developing my brand and everything, I knew that I kind of needed a signature sound. When I say that, I don't mean you should be sticking to one type of beat and only making that beat, but I think it is really important to have a certain sound that when people hear that beat, they're oh yeah, that's a Piper beat. I remember that was my main thing that I would focus on. I really wanted for that to shine for me. And then once I kind of knew what niche I wanted to be in, then that's when I started doing everything else, all the other branding aspects, my cover arts and, all that. Once I had all that together, I knew that I had a really good foundation. I knew I just needed to just keep building off of that. There's a lot of numbers that go into it, your open rates and click rates and all that kind of stuff. And, I think that ultimately having someone's email, a customer's email or a potential customer's email is really important because, you're never going to lose that. You always have contact with them. Most of my time on YouTube, especially like my early days, I was just trying out different styles, different genres, using different artists as keywords on YouTube and stuff. And through that, I found what both I enjoyed making the most, would fulfill me the most, and then also what artists would like the most and would get the most attention and views and all that. And then for me personally, it was when I started doing Mac Miller and Coda the Friend type beats. And, these were artists that not too many people on YouTube or BeatStars were making beats for. I kind of got into my certain niche that, I like making the most and people liked hearing the most from me. I definitely used to be the type of person that would be like, if I saw a song came out, I'd be like, all right, I'll worry about my publishing later. I think a lot of newer producers, they don't really understand the importance of having your publishing royalties and getting the right percentage and all of that. But I think for me, what really gave me a reality check was once I actually got that first like big song come out, because before then I didn't have any big songs out. I would get royalty checks every once in a while, but it wasn't anything where I was like, wow, this is something. But yeah, it definitely took me to get that one big song out. And then I realized like just how much publishing can be a passive income, basically. If you have these big songs coming out that consistently get good streams, that can feed you for a while. I'd almost be scared to like, send counter offers for exclusives because I'd be scared that the artist would just fully cut off the track and I wouldn't be a part of it, But then I think it's really just experience, just going through those motions and finding how to navigate through those conversations. And I think over time, you just get the confidence for it, as well as the education for it. I've definitely had like a few deals in the past where I got like very, very little publishing or none at all, where I'd just like do a full buyout. I get no royalties or anything like that. And at the time, you kind of think like, oh, this song might not be a big song. You might not get any royalties or not enough to actually have a good royalty check. And then you never know, the song could blow up like crazy. Then you're missing out on all this because you were too scared or whatever to get the right terms for your splits. A good rule of thumb that I've gone by, I learned this from a producer whisperer, shout out to him. But he said that, let's say like a label hits you up and they're saying, oh, like you have an artist that's really interested in this beat, let us know what your price is basically. And, instead of giving them a price, you'll ask them to provide you, the terms for publishing, master points, and an advance. That way, they're the ones that give you the offer first, and then you can just go from there. So it takes a little bit less off of you and has things going for you.